Brought to you by Penguin.
A Duty of Care by Peter Hennessy. Read by Matthew Spencer. Part 1. The Road from 1945. Chapter 1. Nye's Perambulators. A revolutionary moment in the world's history is a time for revolutions, not for patching. Sir William Beveridge, 1942. Society becomes more wholesome, more serene, and spiritually healthier if it knows that its citizens have at the back of their consciousness the knowledge that not only themselves but also their fellows have access, when ill, to the best that medical skill can provide. William Beveridge, Minister of Health, while preparing what became the National Health Service Act, 1946. Serenity was one of William Beveridge's favourite words. 74 years later, I remembered his love of it more than once during the far from serene COVID experience. Bevan, universally known as Nye, was, in the words of the great Welsh Labour historian Kenneth O. Morgan, an artist in the uses of power, and the NHS was his masterpiece. William Beveridge, whom nobody called Bill, was dry, prickly, and difficult, but a genius when it came to the social arithmetic of welfare options and costs on people's life chances. A liberal in his personal politics, he entered the House of Commons as MP for Berwick-upon-Tweed in 1944, losing his seat at the 1945 general election. His 1942 report, nonetheless, resonated with both the major parties. His social arithmetic, for a Britain when Hitler was no more, changed the country forever. It is a story tinged with irony. He had only been given the job of tidying up social insurance to get him out of the hair of Ernest Bevin, the Minister of Labour, another artist in the uses of power, but sculpted from the granite of the trade union movement. Beveridge disappeared into the dry world of social insurance and actuarial calculations, to return in a blaze of publicity, much of it self-generated, with a manifesto for future generations. The Beveridge Report remains the most comprehensive and striking document of political anthropology, i.e., where people, systems, and social arithmetic meet, the country has ever seen. It was built on two arguments. First, that the thick outer crust of deprivation would not yield unless the five giants were struck hard and simultaneously. Second, that the cost would not be bearable without the maintenance of full employment. The most famous phrase associated with it was not actually Beveridge's but Winston Churchill's, when he talked in a radio broadcast on the 21st of March 1943 of national compulsory insurance for all classes, for all purposes, from the cradle to the grave. The equivalent, from the lips of Nye Bevan, was much less well known. Bevan's parliamentary private secretary, when he was Minister of Health, was Barbara Castle. In 1948, about the time the NHS came into being, he said to her, "Barbara, if you want to know what all this is for, look in the perambulators." I was in one of Nye's prams when he said that, and, in a sense, I have been ever since, though I am now far closer to the grave than I am to the cradle. Beveridge created a blueprint for a society and a political economy remade. First, the wartime coalition, and then the Attlee government, turned it into welfare and unemployment benefits, health treatments, bricks and mortar, classrooms and schoolbooks, university grants, and, using the techniques outlined in the Keynes-infused White Paper of 1944, the pursuit of a new macroeconomics to see off major economic slumps and depressions. All of this was powered by a palpable never-again impulse that dominated that reform-minded era, and it was all the more impressive because its implementation began even before the grim audit of the British war losses.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?